I'm going to start with her lyrics. We are courage. Now, this was written by your sister?
This is written by me.
Written by you? You wrote that song. She wrote that song. Awesome. That's so funny, because it says on the music, Dina Risha.
Yeah, that was my nickname.
Here I'm thinking, oh, her sister wrote her a song. That's so nice. Your alter ego wrote you a song. Awesome. Okay, so good. Then I'm talking about what you wrote. That's great. We are courage, we are freedom for all the people as we lighten up the world. So, I have to be honest, I don't like talking about things when I am processing them. So you're kind of getting me going against the grain of what I tell people they should never do, which is don't talk about something till you have a real specific point of view. But what I decided today was to just let you experience me processing what I just went through, which everybody keeps saying, did you have a good time? And I feel weird saying I had a good time like I went to the movies. You know, like, did you have a good time? Oh yeah, it was awesome. It wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. It wasn't a good time. It was hard. It was really, really hard. But it was hard in a way that I can answer, did you have a good time? No, I had an incredible time. But it wasn't a good time. You know, I mean, there were some good times. Yeah, I think you get what I mean. Anyway. So we are courage, we are freedom for all the people as we lighten up the world. So I went to Guatemala because in January someone asked me, in January I said to myself, I want to be out in the world. I don't want to just be in this myopic position of thinking North Hollywood is the world and thinking that I'm creating this world around me and this is it. And I forced myself to go to expand. And so I did. Now it's interesting. I went over there to volunteer to give. I wanted to give. You know, we're in Prosperity Plus. I wanted to give more of myself, just to give freely and to volunteer. And so I went over there to give them the gift of me. This is what I thought. No, I really did. I thought, I'm going to get to go give them all the things I do so well. And I did do a lot. And I did what I do well. I taught tap dancing. I did, and you'll see that video at some point of me in the midst of this rainstorm in this very, very scary, dilapidated concrete floor, teaching to these little Guatemalan children, and some of them are just like, I mean, it was just amazing. The ones that really caught, you know, and then some of them would like walk to the other side and go, whoa. But it was so awesome, and it was great because, yes, the first day we got there, we planted 2,000 pineapples. You know, so my back was just killing me. But it was, and Bob Morrissey, we all did it. Jonathan Zenz and I were a little bit of a tag team. I dug the dirt, he threw the pineapple. We were like this little Lucy and Ethel team with the chocolate, you know. And it really was fun. It really was fun, although very exhaustive. I mean, really very exhausting. And it felt like 150 degrees. You know, I barely took a walk from the boat to the pineapple patch, and I was sopping wet. You know, and I'm not used to that. And my hair, I looked like I just got the lead in Annie. So, you know, Jonathan was like, didn't you want to wear a hat? I went, nah, why bother? It's like, you know. So I went there to give of me and to have this great experience. And I had expectations that I could help. And that's not to say there's not a lot to do over there. There is. And it's not to say that there's not a lot to help. But I come back asking myself, help what? What is that really all about when we say we need to go help? We need to help. Help the people? They don't need help. The people, the children, actually didn't need my help. I have to be honest and say that I have never, ever, ever experienced, well, first of all, I don't know that I've ever experienced 280 children all at the same time that way, but who are all living in the same area that is something you and I would not even look at as wanting to walk through, nevertheless live there. And I have never experienced so many children being so happy and getting along so well and loving what they were doing and loving where they were living and loving who they were being and not fighting and not picking on one another, watching an older kid with a younger kid walking arm in arm and laughing and playing games that, you know, at one point I thought to myself, oh my God, they'd never even heard of an Xbox. And I was comparing my own children to them. I was like, God, my kids wouldn't know what to do without their Xbox or their TV or their... And then I had to really step back and go, no, wait. We all tend to live based on where we are with what we have. And so it's not that this is better than this, or that, look, these children can make much better time with nothing. That's not the case. And so really what I came back with was a sense of Guatemala, not so different. Not so different. And it really makes me very emotional. You know, I had a sense of what I was going there to do. And ultimately, I went there to have them do to me and to teach me something really, really big. Now I can't read what I have here. So yeah, I can see the conditions. I could see the conditions, but I could also see the children. And I could see into the eyes of the children. And I really did have a lot of fun with that. I got to teach the children. My job was to, they were so welcoming to me. The school itself, Casa Guatemala, House of Guatemala, for all the children, the school, it's a school. And they gave me classes throughout the day. I had 6 classes every day. So by the time I got through my second day, I'd met every child, because all of them came into class. They had the song, We All Pray the Same, just the verse, written in English on one side of the board and in Spanish on the other side of the board. And I got to come in and teach them how to sing We All Pray the Same in English. And luckily, Oscar was with me, so Oscar was my interpreter, so I could get Oscar to explain what I was saying in Spanish, and then we would teach them the English and the Spanish. All grades. And watching these kids learn this song was and every single day, 6 classes. And it was just remarkable. And one of the funny things is I was really trying to pick up Spanish to the best of my ability. Is that my husband that just left? Yeah, I was really trying. And I thought I had it. I taught them how to say from the top, because I thought that'll help me in the song. And so I would always go, from the top, and they'd all scream, from the top, and then have no idea what I just said. Until finally Oscar explained to them, it's something, and I don't remember what he said, in Spanish. And so it was just so exciting for them. Every day I'd walk in the room, and they'd be like, from the top! And for some reason, and every time I had to get their attention now and then, and I'd have to say, no, listen. And I kept thinking listen was escuela. And so, of course, and it's not, it's escuche. And it's escuche, but I kept saying escuche. So I'd be like, escuela. And finally, the teacher, this beautiful teacher, she came over and she said, they know they're in school. I was like, huh? She goes, you're saying school. You're saying school. It's like, finally I got it. Escucha. Escuche. Listen. So this song, we are masters, we are heroes for all the kingdoms as we lighten up the world. I come back here thinking the world doesn't need to be lightened up. We need to be lightened up in our minds. It's not that the world needs us to go lighten it up. The world needs us to see it correctly. That's what's going on. We need to see this entire world correctly. And in order to see it correctly, we have to know who we are doing the seeing. Now, one of the things that came up over there was the idea of God. Because the teacher that was the English teacher, she was a little put off that a religious song was being taught. Because these children, they don't have a word for God. They haven't been raised in a God world. There is no God. But there's no God in this song either. It's just we all pray the same. And she became my biggest ally by the end of the week. She taught me a lot. She's from the Netherlands, Christian. And there was a lot of talk about Christianity and Catholicism and what I believe. And I got it. Do we really need to teach about God to a culture of children that are living as God already and that spend their time living life so fully that they know what God is? They are in God. That's just what it is. This is what life is. And the joy and the happiness, even in the midst of whatever's going on conditionally. And I really got it. I thought, do we really even need to be trying to teach God? No. What we need to do, or what I feel that my purpose is to just let people know that they have more power in their minds than they could ever imagine. That the use of this energy, the use of this power, how we use our minds to create our experience, and believe me, what we believe is what we experience. These children showed me, they believe they are happy, and they are happy. And I gotta tell you, the rains were just, and when it rains, the smell is unbearable for me. But they didn't seem to mind at all. It rained, and watching these kids go grab brooms, because as soon as it rains through everything, all the roofs, they're just all leaks, and they just grabbed all the brooms so they can keep the water going out of their school and out of their floors. You know, I see a leak in our house, and it's like, oh my God, and it would be a leak that no one would even notice. So it's not about this idea that we have to teach people who they are, but boy, what the ability we have to use who we are, that's, I believe, what the world really is longing for. And that's what I was able to do in teaching them this song, that they could do something. They'd never thought about doing something like this. So what did they do? They actually had an opportunity to succeed at something. So that was for me, this is the end of Clarity Month. That was a major clarification for me. The clarity I got with this God's thing, this God understanding, the clarity I got that we are not here to necessarily bring light to the world, but bring light to our own minds and see the world a different way. What a clear message that was for me. Give me all your burdens. Give me all your sadness. You'll be filled with laughter only when you say you are holy water. You are highly favored, blessing all the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains. There's the clarity. As soon as you know you are the holy water. I didn't have hot water when I got there. The first day when we went out in the fields and planted the pineapples, I have never been that dirty in my entire life. Jonathan and I, we got back in the boat, all of us, and we came home. The smell on that boat was overwhelming. And I was like, I cannot wait to get into the shower. Because we hadn't checked the shower yet. And we get back home, and we go into my bathroom, and the water is freezing. I'm like, Jonathan, there's no hot water. He went, oh, okay, we better just jump in the river. Now, I don't know if you've ever been around me and rivers, but jumping in the river was not my I did have a good time. Or I never thought of jumping in a river to take a bath. Anyone else here? River bathing? So, and it was kind of dirty looking river to me, but you know what? I did it. I took my little my jeans that were filthy, I was going to throw them out anyway, turned them into Daisy Duke shorts. That's what they called them, I didn't. And went and we just jumped in the river. And I was like, oh my God. We jumped in the river, in the rainforest, and I'm swimming in the river, and I'm like, here's a moment in time I never even imagined I would participate in. And yet it feels as good as anything I've ever experienced. And we're just swimming in this river, and I'm trying to wash my hair. not with shampoo, that would be very ecologically horrifying. But, just wash everything and get clean. And we got out, and we were like, Jonathan and I were like, yeah, it smells okay. I guess we're good. And that was it. That was our bath. No hot water. Another clarity. I think we have turned into a culture of people that think we need certain things to be happy. Yes? Anybody else sharing this with me? Yeah. We think we need things to be happy. I still like hot water because I took a shower this morning and I almost didn't want to get out. But I think we will do better for ourselves if we start recognizing that we need nothing to be happy, because we are happiness itself. That's who we are. We were programmed this way. So when we're like, I see God in everything, yes, it's a great song. Yes, we all sing it occasionally here now. But what about I see joy, I see happiness everywhere I go? What about I take the happiness with me wherever I go? I get to be happy because I say I'm happy. Not because this happened or that happened. I'll be happy when ... I'll be happy if ... I'm only happy when ... boom, boom, boom. So another big clarity moment for me. At the end of the week, and as I said, I'm going to be knowing things about this for a very long time, and certainly until I go back there, which I plan on doing next year. But at the end of the week, all the classes had learned the song. And for some reason, I didn't really think about what it's going to be like to really have 280 of them in the same place at the same time. I was doing really well controlling 15 to 30 of them at a time. And the teacher was so sweet. She said to me, you have such a gift with these children. They pay such attention to you. And I said, I think it's because I'm so kind of infantile myself. I have so much fun with them, and then I can go, ah, and we're back. But she was great about it. And I'm totally not thinking about what's it going to be when there's 280 of them. So I'm setting up the shot, because we're doing a video of We All Pray the Same with children from all over the world. I'm setting up the shot, and Jonathan's like, you do realize that the place you're giving them to stand, there's no way 280 kids can stand there. I said, oh yeah, that looks like 280 kids. He said, okay. Reverend Jonathan has learned, why bother asking me? I'm going to just say it's going to be fine, and then he'll figure it out when it shows up. So they're all coming in, and it's this big like coliseum of risers of seats. And I've said they're going to shoot it this way, but the risers go all the way across. All of a sudden, Jonathan comes up to me and says, did you notice the children? And I look up, because I was busy doing something. I look up, every seat is full. It's literally like, I was like, I had to take a deep breath. I was like, oh my God, are they really going to all listen to me at the same time? I was like, wow. So, and then of course, right in that moment, the rainstorm came. And we're sitting under a tin roof. Just think about the sound issues. So now it is just sound, and then of course every dog in the area needed a place to come. So the dogs came. And then Oscar had already left, so I didn't have my bud Jose was there. I said, Jose, you're with me. You're going to speak Spanish. I'll tell you what to say. So we played this game, and I would and they would approximate the clapping, and we played a game where I'd go, ha, and they'd all go, ha, and listening to them, and you'll see it on video. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. Just hearing them all pay attention and be part of the game and laughing. And then we did the We All Pray the Same. And listening to all of them singing We All Pray the Same, wow, it was so unbelievable, just unbelievable. The day before, our last day there, Friday, I had my last class before the big video. I had a 6th grade class, I think, and we sang it and we danced it and we sang it and we danced. Oh, and I did movements for the whole song. Of course, I gave them choreography because I couldn't just. But the choreography really helped them remember what they were saying. Really awful choreography, but I was like doing it in the moment with the rain. I was like, so. The last day of class, Jonathan and I finished the class, and I was like, well, we're done. The teacher was like, well, let's give them an extra 15 minutes to go out and play. And so she said, you're all excused, and they all ran out. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, 2 boys come back in. And they explained to her, there's 15 minutes left in the class, and they want to use it. And I was like, yeah, that happens a lot in the United States. That'd be my son. Oh, no, I want to be in school. So I was like, all right. So I sit down with them and we start working on the song again, and then one by one, all the kids come back. And they're in the class and they're all singing louder than ever. And Jonathan and I are like, we're puddles of tears. That's when I started teaching tap dancing. I was like, I got to teach something else. They need something new. So we started doing the tap dancing. And it was just, so we finished that class and we leave. Now, it's in this room that's literally falling apart. And when it rains, all the water goes in the middle of the room. And I'm like saying, this room is about to cave in. It's going to cave in. And we went underneath and looked, and no, it's kind of just built that way. But it was just so not what I expect as a classroom. Oh, and the gym is outside the window, so as they're all screaming in soccer, you're trying to sing at the same time. They have great concentration, because they could concentrate with things that I can now concentrate in any situation, I think. As Jonathan and I go to leave, we have to crawl down these stairs under these things that could kill us if we weren't watching. Rain pouring all over. We're about to leave, and they're way up in their classroom still, and they're all at the window, but it's a mesh window. And as we're walking through the courtyard, they start singing the song to us. And Jonathan and I, we're walking, and I was like, and we looked up, and they're going, in any tongue, in it. And Jonathan's like, oh no, this is not happening. And we're both just standing there, and like, we're sobbing, and all of a sudden I went, are you filming this? And he grabs his cell phone, and he gets like the last 5 seconds. Because neither one of us thought to film it. We were just like, and crying, and so at dinner that night, Jonathan's like, when you see those things in movies, you're like, schmaltzy. Never could happen. It happens. Those moments happen. So, another big moment of clarity. The universe gives back to us in perfect proportion to what we're willing to give it. And I know that by that point of the week, I had not bathed, and the food was not what I usually eat, let me say. And lunchtime there, Bob, are you there, Bob Marcy? He's in the other room. Lunchtime at this place is beyond what you could imagine. They get this big bucket of stuff that they throw in, and the kids are just grabbing food and with their hands, and they wash your dishes in cold water, and you get that dish back the next day. And I just wasn't used to that. But I'd eaten all the Snickers bars I brought, so I'm like eating, and I really was trying to eat with them all. And being part, but it was about being part of that environment. That's really what it was about. I had to go into the lunchroom to eat with them all because I had to be a part of it all. But it blew my mind when I got to the end of the week and that happened in that window. And I had already been through all the things I'd been through all week, and I suddenly realized that the universe really does give back to us in perfect proportion to what we're willing to give out. And I think we don't give mostly because we're afraid that if we give too much, we won't have it anymore. But do we or do we not believe that we are an unlimited supply of infinite possibility, infinite perfection? So, as I said, I had clarity on the fact that it's not so different out there. The title of my talk today is Todos es posible en el mundo. Muy bien, wasn't that good? I read that pretty well. Todos es posible en el mundo. Everything is possible in the world. Everything is possible in the world. So I have great clarity. What I believe is possible for one, I have to believe is possible for all. What I believe is possible for me, I have to believe is just as possible for a child in Guatemala who seems like it has no opportunity whatsoever. I cannot go to the level of the relative world of no opportunity in Guatemala for this child. That is a bad use of my mind. If I believe everything is possible in the world, then I have to believe that for everyone across the board. There is no special case. There is just someone who is willing to tap into it. And when I watched all these children dancing and singing, I recognized that there was sparks in every single one of them. So the question I have for you today is, what do you believe is possible in your world? Because when I came back yesterday, I'm looking at everything differently. I'm looking at houses and buildings. I'm thinking, what would people say if they flew here and drove through this neighborhood? We drove past something in North Hollywood, and I went, well, someone could look at that and think, oh my God, someone lives in that? I totally get it. So, where you are right now, where you're sitting, what is possible in your world? What do I believe is possible in the world is really what I believe is possible in my world. To the degree that you go out there and think, well, that's not possible for that person. Well, that's not possible. And actors do it all the time. It's not going to. I'm not going to be able to get the jobs. I don't have the right agent. Agents have nothing to do with it. It's inside. You want to work as an actor? Just be an actor. Go give your acting talents to the world. Watch what happens. We can find so many reasons why it won't happen, why it can't happen, because it didn't before. This is the way it works. At the last day after we were done the filming and everything, we came back, and some of our party had rented a house right across the river, literally swimming distance if you could swim it, right across the river. And I hadn't seen it all week. So I went over on the last day, just to have a glass of wine and just see this house. Right across the way was this spectacularly beautiful house, with hot water, I might add. This gorgeous house. And I was staying just feet away over here. And I didn't go over there thinking, oh, why didn't I stay here? At all. I went over there and thought to myself, all of this lives in the same world, and I can be just as happy there as I am here. Why is that? Absolutely. Why is that? And why can some people, not the people that were there, by the way, Scott and Jose rented this house and they've been there 4 times. This was just where they were. This was where they've grown into. But why can some people only be happy here and not happy here? It's a perception. And Nadine has a thing in her song, a word, and she says, what is that? Get rid of your story. What is the lyric? Give up all your stories. How many stories do you have that you still hold on to, that you think define who you are? Most of us have all these stories in our lives, and we think that that's who we are. We think we are our story. Todos es posible en el mundo. Everything is possible in the world. Why? Because you are the world. And there should never be a place where you feel different. You are the world. You are every place you go, and you should never feel different. It might be unfamiliar, but that's just because you haven't met that part of you yet. It doesn't matter where you go, and we say it, right where I am, God is. I went to Guatemala, and I met a part of me that I didn't know. I met a piece of me that I didn't know. And I am wagering that as I continue on this journey of literally expanding myself to going to, someone asked me if I wanted to go to Ghana with them, and I said yes. Wherever I go, I'm going to meet me. Another piece of me, another part of me. This is the Global Truth Center. There's a reason this name change happened. It wasn't just for branding. It wasn't just because I woke up one morning and said, I don't like the what was it called? The NoHo Arts Center for New Thought anymore. Let's give it a new name. No, we are the Global Truth Center because there is truth everywhere to be found. Not just in the science of mind, but in all religions everywhere. And there is a commonality and a oneness that we all share, that if we got to that in a more distinctive, powerful way, in a more palatable way, if we stopped arguing for our differences and started arguing for our commonality, life would change. And I think what our job is going to be is to just give ourselves the opportunity to more and more find ourselves wherever we go. Stop seeing why we're different and start seeing why we're the same. Because really, everything is possible in the world. Because you are the possibility. You are the mind that decides and makes the decision. So I want to say thank you to all of you that supported this trip. I want to say thank you to Lynn Wask and Karen Needle and Dana Beyer and Scott and Jose and Oscar and Bob Marzi and Jonathan Zenz and Lena and Ripsame and all the people that went there. And I know have their own stories to tell when they get back, and I know those stories are going to be amazing. Every single one of you has an amazing story to tell. And in this month of clarity that we're closing, the clearest I have ever been is when I was on that trip from Kevin picking me up at the airport with my children back to my house, driving through Los Angeles, and feeling like I was seeing it for the first time, like I didn't recognize it. There was a moment we were driving, and I was like, is he taking a different route? I was like, I didn't know where we were, and we were right around the corner from our house. Yes, I was tired, but it wasn't that. It was that my eyes are awakened to something, which is you got to start seeing things from more perspectives, many different perspectives, and then understing There's only one thing going on, and that is life. Namaste.